Welcome back and thank you for staying with us on Daybreak Extra. Now let's kickstart this segment by taking a look at the Weekend Trust, which you know how promising it is and fully packed with a lot of information that you can dissect all through the weekend. So the major story, of course, is about opposition in disarray. Riders are saying we are doing well. That's parties insist. We saw how everything unfolded the past week, where in just a week, about 7 members of the Labour Party deflected to the ruling party, which is the All Progressive Congress. And people, there's been a lot of conversation about that from the lawmakers from the Labour Party defending their party. They are saying it should not be so. Constitutional right is there. There is a thing, written in Constitution that if people voted you in a party, then it's because they trust you. It's not just you as your own person, but you come as a pair with your party. So if you deflect, that is you betraying those people. And there's another angle of argument saying that the Labour Party is in disarray. Hence the reason why we saw how APC had their own internal battle. We saw how the PDP had theirs. But now they are saying the APC and the LP are really not aligned. They're not together. Hence the reason why there's a lot of deflection happening. So as much as, Fatima, we are not really keen on, internal party crisis. But this whole thing's happening would affect general election, whether we like it or not.
Well, there's always a defect anywhere, like in most old parties. We have seen where APC defected to PDP. A lot of them went during the Buhari's administration, and we are seeing that happening now, even though it's not as much as it happened during the Buhari's administration. We've seen a lot of defection from this party to that party. I mean, you can't take away party crisis at the end of the day. There's always going to be a body in the party that is agreeing to certain things and disagreeing to certain things. So I think that's where the whole conflict comes from. When there's no synergy, when there's no togetherness to say, okay, let's go with this person's plan to see what happens and who we are going to nominate, possibly, So this is kind of, I feel, the kind of thing that brings up some arguments or conflicts in a party. So, well, we just hope they are going to settle this, even though we've seen that they are going to sue some of them, for defecting from the party to the next party and also. But
and it was the insistence of lawmakers of the LP saying that, there is absolutely no chaos in LP. We are all fine. Because
I mean, they always come out and say they are all fine, even when there is no, but we can see, the stories out there, you can't actually take it away. In every rumor, there's an atom of truth. I keep saying that. So definitely something is wrong.
At the end of the day, it's not about them, it's about the people and the country. And hopefully all this decision that is being made is for the betterment of the country and not a selfish reason. Now, of course, there is a pictorial of what is happening. We see Obi, we see former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and there is Kwankwaso. So there's a lot of unblocking happening there. The infography by Bulama Mustafa is showing that. If you want details of that, like I said, most times internal party disarray tend to affect general elections, so you have to pay attention to all of this. Now below that infography, or rather below this illustration, we have Rivers can receive monthly allocation. That's according to appeal courts. We all know that there's been situation, crisis, court orders back and forth with the Rivers State government, where we see the internal, we're talking about the internal, what is it called? The State House of Assembly also not really being in alignment with the government. So there is division there, and it is affecting how, of course, the court is also making the judgment. So finally, they get to receive monthly allocation, which would help grow the state. Beside that, we see how elites retain wealth through marriages. This is a really interesting one, Fatima. How elites retain wealth through marriages.
Oh yeah.
Now before, while growing up, we used to have this thought of Cinderella story. A rich guy meets a poor girl.
Happy ending.
Yeah, a rich girl meets a poor boy, and then they meet. But
the prince always.
Now it has become so strict. There is no, it's like, no, the rich stay in your lane, the poor stay in your lane, and there is this arranged marriages happening. So people don't want to carry as someone they perceive to be a liability with their family. So they would rather say, okay, no. marry someone that is also rich. That way we can have this generational wealth happening. So it's really an interesting story that I cannot even
definitely. I mean, it's going to keep people reading and talk to this paper today, because there's something, you know, these are kind of stories that actually people are intrigued about. Yes, you know, stories like this that you see someone, they want to know what's happening. Why is this exactly? Decision? And we have actually seen that play out almost everywhere. Even in the movies, we've seen that, you know, and then it's a reality that we have to come to terms with. A lot of families actually want their children to marry into a wealthy family where it's going to take away the burdens and some, you know, necessities that they may need, that maybe the family may not be able to cater, or they just want, if you're from a rich family, your family will want you to marry into a rich family so you can have that same, reduce, you know, exactly. So
it's really interesting, but for me, I always see this as you know, understanding how the rich think, while there is this you know, how the elites are just thinking we just have to retain our wealth. And it just for me, there is positive to it, which is pushing the poor to also do their own hustle, you know, not to overly rely on, I want to marry first into, you know, to get that wealth, because right now it's really stiff. The circle of the elites are not breaking to welcome, you know, the poor man into their circle. But hopefully, honestly, I preach for at least there should be mixture that would at least reduce
there is
the
actually
level of
mixture
poverty.
Because it's not everyone that thinks that way.
Did you see a rich person marrying a poor girl?
There is actually. It's just that it's not out there in the news, like maybe if it is too elites or wealthy family getting married, but there is actually a lot.
I feel the number has reduced, and there's always been concerns of other people, you know, giving feedback to say, I even got married to it, and you know, I married into wealth, but then they don't treat us right and all of that. But then yes, if you want details of that story, you find on page 29. Now below the headlines there, we see Alau Dam tragedy, farmers and fishermen struggle to pick pieces. You find that on page 10. Lamido remains Council of Emirs chairman. That's according to Adamawa Assembly. You find this story on page 9. And beside there, we see Tinubu, Abbas, Mamandaura, governors and others attend Barrow's children's wedding. And guess who Barrow's child, you know, got married to? Another elite, I'm pretty sure. But then you find the story on page 25. Now, these are the stories, and of course, there is more that you can find on the Weekend Trust this Saturday.
Definitely, when they dive into the newspaper fully. Well, let's take a look at Guardian this morning, and the major story there says why mining sector can't be reliable despite the MOU with France. Now, this, you know, a lot is happening because we just spoke about the bilateral relations between the countries after the president visited to strengthen the relationship between Nigeria and this country. So if this is coming, it's going to be, you know, going to put Nigerians on their feet to be wondering why this is being said that it can't be relied on. So, but then you can go through this story fully on page 8 and 9 of the Guardian.
I mean, there's still a lot of battle when it comes to the mining sector, which is the illegal mining. We are still yet to be able to curb illegal, you know, stealing of crude oil.
Oil bunkering.
You know, and then right now, mining is still a kind of new territory for us. Really, there is still a lot of battle for the government, on the federal and states, to actually curb illegal mining. It is really scary. People are dying in mining holes, but then still there is illegal mining. So as much as we're happy that, you know, there is investment, there are also things that need to be put in place to make that investment fruitful. So hopefully we get to see the
so, you know,
out of it.
So because the relationship is to strengthen relationship with the countries and see how we can tackle certain you know, issues here and there. So go through page 8 and 9 for more details. Then we'll see from Ghana, lessons for Nigerians electoral umpire ahead of 2027 polls. Now, you know, we just spoke about the party crisis, how it's going to affect, but this is a lesson from the election that just happened, you know, between the two candidates, and the one actually won.
Just like the ruling party lose, you know, and there was no
conflict. Exactly. It was peaceful. He immediately sent a message to congratulate, and then the the winner actually came out to say, oh yeah, this I received a message from this person. It's actually beautiful to see that, you know, that happened. I mean, we saw that we saw that how it turned out on Africa Update when one of our anchors actually you know took on the story. So she did justice to it, definitely. So
yes, and also something they should also learn is the first first female vice president of Ghana. That's another thing, please, that we need to look
definitely
into. So I want the next election 2020,
at least we should have a woman you know running,
women
you know, as the vice if possible. That would actually be nice to you know. So yeah, go through page 2 for more details. Whether Nigeria as Morocco Saudi host World Cup. Do you think that could be possible? Is a question.
Yeah, I know that. I remember when Morocco was aiming for it as well. We know that even last you know, World Cup, Saudi pushed also to have at least some attention to them. Morocco also pushed, but I'm sure Morocco pushed for AFCON, not sure of the World Cup. So it's really great that, you know, there is push for this. I don't know where the we that is coming from. Is it that Nigerians are skeptical, or is it that it's going far away from Nigeria? When would we I don't know the details.
People should be allowed to tell countries to go and play,
of course,
you know, sports games to actually strengthen the relationships that we're talking about. This is another way of strengthening bilateral relationships with other countries when you get to go and, you know, be part of certain things that is happening.
But I love the fact that when Morocco was, you know, vying for that position, they knew they needed Nigeria's support, so they reached out. It was a great, honestly, I mean,
that's the kind of relationship that we are talking about, that, you know, when in need, you see that the other countries that have a good relationship with Nigeria always show. Yes, definitely. So that's that. But then you can go through, you know, the guidance for more details. And then we have Benue APC, a house falling apart over Akume Ale rifts.
Interesting. So the former governor and the present.
Exactly. I mean, you can see their picture there.
I'm literally tired of situations like this. We are yet to still go past Wike and Fubara.
And we are still seeing a lot.
You know, from Adams Oshomole or Baseki, and then now Monday Okpebolo. It's just a circle of
I mean, you can't
chaos.
You can't take all this away from politics.
No, we should be able to take them away.
Well, you can't have politics without this
fadarism thing.
Yeah, but Sumaya, you can't. This is why it's politics. You can't take it away. You can't take this kind of things away. Actually, it happens. It's everywhere. Every country has this kind of chaos.
No, in political system. I disagree on that.
No, I mean, trust me. Probably, maybe you don't know, but then just go through it.
We're
you
fighting
see that
against godfatherism, so I think we should push for that. Honestly. You know, that some things we keep saying, no, it's okay, it's normal, but that we saying it's normal just allows it to continue. I feel like if we don't want something, we can fight against it. And godfatherism is one thing that we don't know, because as both people are fighting, Fatima, the grass is suffering, and that's the people. River State is yet to receive allocation until recently, so imagine what they might have.
Yeah, I mean, the court has already said they can actually receive allocation. So, but then we'll definitely see that in other newspapers. But
they need to
go through. Sumaya, if Sumaya is given the chance,
they need to stop.
Trust me.
I'll tell you why.
Go through page 17. Go through page 17 for more details. People are deepening a climate change narrative through reclaimed beauty. I mean, you can see the picture of nature, and it looks like a woman. You know, maybe you can't see that from afar. To me,
yeah. I don't. The popular that I knew was, you know, the Kaduna doctor that was kidnapped. So I'm confused about this, but she was released, and that's a great thing. But yeah, talking about you know, climate change narrative through reclaimed beauty. Reclaimed, right?
Yeah, reclaimed beauty.
I just hope we'll get to a place where we'll go back to how it used to be. So there is a lot that needs to be done when it comes to fighting climate change. Hence the COP29.
Yeah, because and there is a lot they've actually discussed thoroughly about that, and then we've seen actually, you know, improvement during this seasons of flooding in Nigeria and even other countries.